In this video, we'll do a nice infinite series question. So we are given that the sum from n equals 1 to infinity of 1 over n squared first converges, but its value is actually equal to pi squared over 6. And we want to find the value of the infinite series 1 minus 1 over 2 squared plus 1 over 3 squared minus 1 over 4 squared plus dot dot dot. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. Okay, so we can write this as the sum from n equals 1 to infinity, because it's infinite. On the bottom, we're going to have n squared because we start from 1 squared. And then on the top, so the first term is plus, and then the second one is negative, and so on. So we're going to have negative 1 to the n because the sign's changing. But let's just check the first. So the first one is positive, so let's plug in the first term, n equals 1. This will be negative 1 to the first power, but that's negative. That's negative 1. So we have to do n minus 1 on the top instead of n. Okay, so how to do absolute convergence? We just take the absolute value on the inside. So this is equal to the sum from n equals 1 to infinity. On the bottom, you're going to have n squared. First of all, because n squared is positive always. But second of all, because we're starting from n equals 1 to infinity, so n is always positive to begin with. On the top, you'll have the absolute value of negative 1 or positive 1, so that will just be 1. But this we are given as pi squared over 6. So this means it absolutely converges. Okay, what does this mean? This means that we can reorder terms. And so it's legal to reorder terms. Okay, so we have 1 minus 1 over 2 squared plus 1 over 3 squared minus 1 over 4 squared plus dot dot dot. What is it equal to? So we can group the odd terms. So we have this one, and then 1 over 5 squared and so on. So we're going to have 1 plus 1 over 3 squared plus 1 over 5 squared and so on. We can group those out. So we're reordering the terms technically. Minus, and then you're going to have minus 1 over 2 squared, then minus 1 over 4 squared and so on. So we can take the negative out, and we're going to have 1 over 2 squared plus 1 over 4 squared plus 1 over 6 squared and so on. Okay. So let's look at this. So we have the sum from n equals 1 to infinity of 1 over n squared. We are given this is pi squared over 6. So now if we want the even parts of this, we have 1 over, you have to plug in 2n for n, so we have 2n quantity squared. So this will be 1 over 4 on the outside times the sum from n equals 1 to infinity of 1 over n squared. And now this is given, or above, this is pi squared over 6, so this will be pi squared over 24. So how do we get the odd parts? We have the sum from n equals 1 to infinity of 1 over 2n minus 1, because we want to start squared, and we want to start when this is 1. Okay, this will be, so they have to add up to be this pi squared over 6. So this is really pi squared over 6 minus pi squared over 24. Okay, that means we're given everything. So this is pi squared over 6 minus pi squared over 24. This is, so this parentheses is this term. Then I have to minus this parentheses. Okay, and then this will just be pi squared over 24, like we said, right? Yeah, the even parts is pi squared over 24. Okay, so now we can combine these to be pi squared over 6. So minus pi squared over 24 minus another pi squared over 24. This will be minus 2 pi squared over 24, which is minus pi squared over 12. And now on the, you can make a common denominator here. So this will be, on the bottom we have 6 times 2. So this will be 2 minus 1 times pi, which is pi squared over, let's write that again, pi squared over 12. And that is the end of the video. Hope you liked it, and thanks for watching.